Hey everyone, Lisa here, getting you through these chronic stress-related issues, adrenal fatigue-related issues, burnout-related issues, and even if you're not there yet, helping you to not get there, helping you to break through before you get burnt out. So I want to get into the heart of helping you to get off this dysfunctional path that's not working. And I'm going to take you back to, let's see, 10 years ago, probably 11 years ago in my life. And I was in a relationship that was not really working. It was pretty ordinary. I was being controlled, manipulated. If I didn't do something that my partner wanted me to do, I was often yelled at, treated very ordinarily, shall I say. It felt like emotional abuse, if I'm to be honest. That's how it felt from my end. But I allowed that to happen as well. So I was in this relationship, which was not working. We were running a business together, a women's gym, at the time, and it was struggling. We'd had a lot of issues with our initial investor, and there was lots of tension and trauma, and they were wanting their money back, and we couldn't do it because the business wasn't working well enough. So there was all this tension. Then it got to the weekend and I felt like I didn't have any time to myself. I felt forced to go and do something with my girlfriend's family that I didn't really want to do, and I went along because I didn't want the conflict. So I was in this whole rhythm of life where I was so controlled, so manipulated, doing things I didn't want to do, not spending enough time or hardly any time doing things that I really enjoyed. And my life felt like shit, and I felt like shit. Okay, so my first step back then is I went to a counselor. I went to see a counselor, and she encouraged me at the time to set up something that I enjoyed as a starting point. And I went and joined a golf club, and it was a really positive step, but it wasn't the answer to everything. Then I got to the next year, 2007, and I was like, right, I cannot do this for another second longer. And the counselor suggested that I put it in writing to my partner that I do not want to be in this business, and I want to end our relationship. And so I did. And the shit hit the fan. Everything exploded. And I couldn't handle it. And I backed down. And I reneged on what I said I wanted to do. And it took me another 2 years of living in this way that was so unhealthy for me, so stressful for me. Things getting worse and worse, the business we were running getting worse and worse, hardly functioning. I was working 20 to 30 hours outside of the business just to try and make a living. It was messy as all hell, working way too hard, pushing way too hard, overgiving, people pleasing, being afraid of conflict. What a mess. So in 2009, I finally said to her, I cannot be in this relationship, and I stuck to it. I ended the relationship. But there was still one more really messy piece, because we were entangled in this business. And she was adamant that she was not going to let me out of it. Adamant as all hell. And things for the next 12 months were messy, even more messy. And over this period of time, each time we engaged in a conflict, I could feel the stress rising. And I didn't fully appreciate at the time how much this stress was really, really affecting me. How much chronic stress was causing this stress response in my mind, in my brain, to go off. And so I was releasing stress hormones over and over again. So I think for a full 12-month period, the stress levels I felt were out of control. And I couldn't seem to find a way to end this business. And I went to lawyers, I went to seek free financial advice, I tried to get further help from my counsellor, and nobody seemed to have an easy answer for me about how to extricate myself. And eventually I found that I had to call on a deep, deep spiritual practice because things were not working. There was so much resistance from her for this business to end, and we did not have the capacity at that point to run it. You know, it was on wobbly ground before we split up, and it was just unmanageable. So everything was out of control. I was at breaking point at this time. So now this is 2010. Start of 2010, I'm at breaking point. Breaking point. The levels of stress are out of control. Out of control. And this might be where you're at right now, where things have spiraled so badly that you just do not know where on earth to start. How on earth to get yourself out of this mess that's been created. So, just to finish my story here, I eventually turned to a spiritual practice. And it was the practice of forgiveness and the practice of seeing her in a different light. And for a period of a few weeks, I worked through this process in my mind, visualizing, seeing her, feeling good about her life, forgiving her, forgiving myself for this mess that we were in, this situation that we were in. And I kept at this every single day, for a period of a few weeks. And I kid you not, things shifted. Things shifted. She began to see that this business had to end. She began to speak to me, to communicate with me in a way that wasn't harsh and abusive. We were able to have human conversations and talk through what we needed to do. And she began to accept that our relationship was truly over and that this business had to be completed. And so we were able to come to the final few months of the business that we had together in alignment. We were able to work through together with the steps that we needed to take. And we had to put the business into liquidation, and we each had to file for bankruptcy because that's how bad it had ended up. But we were able to do it in alignment. There was a way. And my journey wasn't over at that point because the whole process of everything that had gone on had created such severe symptoms inside of me. And that was when I developed very severe adrenal fatigue, and hence I had to go on the whole process of getting myself better from that, from a very holistic level. But the turning point, when things were so bad and I did not know what to do, was connecting with myself, connecting with a bigger presence, connecting with a divine presence, getting back in touch with what I needed, seeing the situation differently, not trying to force it and control it and contrive it and, feeling desperate, because I know that's what you're feeling. I know when you have your back up against the wall, the level of desperation and hopelessness and struggle, it's overwhelming. I know, I understand it because I was there. But it's not going to be the way that you're going to get out of it. Now, my coming to this spiritual practice as well, to help me to turn things around, didn't happen on my own either, in terms of the physical support. I had it with the support of somebody. In fact, 2 people at the time. who was supporting me through that process, who was supporting me in doing things in a different way. I did not do it alone, because very often our own thinking takes us down a certain path. Our own ways of doing things need a shake-up, because they're taking us down this one way. Okay, and in your case and in my case, it was down the burnout lane. And at this point, you need to pull back and get some of your power back. You have to. There's no other way to do it. And it really does take connecting back into you, to letting go of all the desperation of the hows. How is this going to be solved and resolved? How is this going to be fixed? Oh my God, that creates further stress, further angst, further worry, further anxiety, further depression, further hopelessness. And whatever you're feeling physically just gets worse and worse. So that was my tipping point. That was my turning point. When I stepped up and really claimed a different way. I had nothing to lose at that point. Nothing to lose. The current way certainly wasn't working. I knew that. And you know that for you too. I know. You wouldn't be on this page. You would not be watching this video right now if you were wondering how the hell you were going to get out of your situation. It takes a different way. And this is the kind of stuff I do when I work with people one-on-one. To really look at different ways of handling a situation. To train new ways of thinking about a situation. To train new ways of seeing your life. Because it's so easy to get into a habitual pattern. And then we develop these physical symptoms and we blame the physical for everything, and we want the supplement and, you know, the diet to fix it all. And yes, those are important pieces and are a part of bringing your stressed body back to balance, but it's not going to sort it all out on its own, because you need to learn how to live differently. You need to clear the old emotional baggage. You need to look at your life differently. You need to really learn how to empower yourself, how to stand up for what you need, and to see the situations in your life from a different angle, and call upon this divine presence to support you. You are not alone. You are not alone. I see too many women out there not accepting that there's something really wrong, that the way in which you're living your life has gone so deeply off course that you know it's not working for you, but you're still not admitting it. You're still not fully coming to terms with the fact that something must change. So I'm here to tell you now, if you're at this breaking point, if you're at this point where you feel so hopeless, dealing with all kinds of physical symptoms, your stress is through the roof, you feel worried, anxious, depressed, you've got to do something different. You've got to do something different. You cannot keep going on as you are. You just cannot. Do something different. Do things in a different way. It starts with you making a conscious choice. And often we're forced to. You know, I felt like for me it was like a lightning bolt. You cannot go along like this any longer. I knew I had to change things. I had to. I had no option. But I needed the support of people around me to help me follow through on a different way, to follow a different path, a different direction. And I was able to set in motion this new way of thinking about a same situation that had felt quite stale for the previous 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, a long time. The answers sit there inside of you. They sit there inside of you. And I know if I asked you to place your hand on your heart right now, in fact, do it. If you're watching, put your hands on your heart and ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need to do differently right now? What is it? Let it bubble up here. What do you need to do differently? What do you need right now? Who do you need to become in order to set in motion a new way, a new path? Because you know, and I know that this old way is not working, is it? It's not working. It's got you to where you are now. It's got you to this place of dealing with these physical symptoms that are not fun, that are very uncomfortable. You're tired and wired, you're anxious, you're depressed, you've probably got blood sugar issues going on, you've probably got gut upsets, maybe food sensitivity issues. I doubt if you're bouncing out of bed, you're probably really tired in the morning, you probably feel quite weak, you probably feel fatigued. I was ticking all those boxes, tick, 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 tick. When you exercise, you feel like you've got nothing in you. Your energy is literally being sucked out of you because you're living in a way that's not supporting you. And then your physical body becomes compromised, and of course your energy has to go. But thank you, body, thank you. Your body is alerting you. Your body is waking you up to the fact that you cannot do this, that something's not working, that you need an adjustment, that you need a course adjustment. And I'm asking you to tip this point, tip it over. Stop taking yourself down this path that is creating this. Stop doing the stuff that isn't working and start a different way. Start doing what does work for you. Claim it, own it, connect into what you need. Connect into what you need. No one's going to do this for you. There's not going to be a fairy godmother that's going to come and just fix it. You have got to say yes to you. It's like, yes, I need a different way. I need this, I need that. I claim it, I own it. And now I'm going to take steps that take me in that new direction. And then get help, get support so that you can follow through and make that happen. Allow it to happen. To set in emotion a different way, a new way. Claim it, own it. Don't keep going along, please. Don't keep going along in this same way. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work in the future. It's time to change it. It's time to change it. If you want to know a little bit more about how I change things, so that was just an example, go and get my free 5-day video program. So it's full of really actionable tips. They're just short videos, but they really pack a punch. And it's incredible how one small idea that you actually take action on can change the course of your life forever. So don't underestimate that. Okay, so go and watch the videos. So at healingfromburnout.com/burnout detox. Okay, connect in. See what I'm about. See how I got through to the other side of burnout. And if you want to have a chat with me about how you can make this happen for yourself, how you can really make these changes, then let's chat. Let's chat. If you want to chat, just let me know. Comment below, let me know. Okay. You can do this. You can do this. Don't stay stuck forever, please. We're not here on this planet forever. Sort your stuff out. Don't just go along asleep. Wake up to what you need and change it. And change it. One step at a time. Okay? Catch you later. Bye.